Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello, hello. Um, Welcome to another live stream. My name's Jesse Edelman. I am a um, productivity and systems engineer is what I do for a living. And what I do for a not living uh, is um, is think and learn. And Some of the things I like to learn about are um, the real history, um, which is a never ending. Even learning about history is something that is never ends. Not just because time marches on, but because there are so many different angles to look at different parts of our history that new interpretations can emerge at any moment. Um, and different points of view, especially those that have been suppressed, are always worth a hearing in my book. Um, so a couple things, some housekeeping stuff. So just so you know, I'm a new streamer. I'm not used to just putting my face all the way out there, um, and it's a bit scary, but it's also a bit thrilling. Um, I mean, I have worked with computers off and on for many decades, since I was a kid. Um, the social media aspect, though, is obviously has evolved into a corporate behemoth, and it seems to accentuate the nastiest aspects um, of humanity. and for profit, for gain. So, but I have to, you have to realize that we're born into the society that we are born into, and we're we are given through that avenues of communication, and it can be important to make the best of what you get. Um, so, all right. So housekeeping. I am getting used to streaming. I've been using OBS and have found some excellent videos online on how to use OBS better. Today I'm going to be trying out a new plugin in OBS that I haven't used before, called the Markdown plugin. Basically, so I can sort of share an agenda and actually make an agenda for today. So even more exciting, gonna be winging it to make the agenda for these first live streams. I've thought about things to bring to the live stream to talk about, but I think that world events, as well as just leaving ourselves to the fates, can be rewarding, because the live stream will always be fresh. So let's get that Markdown plugin going here. So I made a new scene, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk through creating just a little bit of a potential agenda. Nice thing about it not being a formal thing. This isn't television. I don't need to plan it that much in advance, and I also don't need to adhere to a strict plan. But of course, I'll want to hear from folks watching, either live or in clips or afterwards. If this was like listening to Nails on Chalkboard, or watching paint dry, but hey, we'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll get more interesting. Okay, so let's see. This is the first time using this plugin, so let's see if it blows up OBS. It's exciting. Alrighty, so there's a placeholder. I can, maybe behind the scenes I'll do after I actually kind of make an agenda. So without further ado, let me first let me just do a quick check and make sure that the stream is going. Looks like it, yeah. Both on Twitch and on YouTube. Welcome. And let's just take a quick look. Can show you what I'm looking at here. This is just looking at BTOP. Just want to see that my computer is not just, I want to see how much it's huffing, how much it's exerting itself, and it's doing work. It's got the GPU is doing its thing. The bandwidth is also being used, which is great. And other than that, the CPU is not doing much. Well, I mean, it's doing something, but it's just it's doing a moderate amount of work. But the GPU is working hard. So it's not at 100%, but it's still working hard. Temperatures don't look too bad. So I have had some strange hardware problems last stream, where it just all of my everything just my laptop just shut off, which has never happened. I've had this laptop for years. Maybe that's the problem. I've had it for years. But that was scary. I did do a kernel update. So this is a technical live stream as well as political. So I'm going to say technical things. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about or wants to know more, I'm happy to dive into it. I'm actually a big fan of the weeds, going in the weeds. I like the weeds. It's great. Very rewarding. Being in the weeds has made a career for me, so love it. Anyways, the I did a kernel update, which also included a firmware update, the Linux firmware blob, and maybe that helped. I always notice that I have an AMD system with a AMD GPU, and I noticed that there's constant activity in the kernel tree for AMD as well as the firmware blobs. So hoping that may have helped to stabilize it, but you never know until you know, if you're not looking intently and deeply, or if you're not doing a close reading of the source code, who knows? And it's not just source code, matching the source code with the hardware and other firmware that's happening. So, you know, computers are not just you running your program, it's you're running a program that's running on top of a program that's also accessing another program that's in firmware. You know, it's not as simple as you might learn in ComSci 101 for how hardware works. It's not a von Neumann machine. It's like many von Neumann machines with some extra additions and some extra inefficiencies. Okay, so things are looking good from that perspective. So let's, and this is BTOP, by the way. So if you don't know, this is BTOP. Jeff Geerling recently had a feature where he went through a bunch of different types of tops. And one of the ones that he pointed out is BTOP. I've been using BTOP for I guess about a year. In addition to using ATOP, which I've used for a lot longer, probably 8 years. And of course, ordinary top, which I've used since I started using Linux back in the early 2000s. Or was that late? No, sorry, that was the late 90s. Yes, I'm dating myself. I don't care. But yeah. And actually, now that I think about it, going back to when I was a kid and I got to use a PDP-11 with the Ristus system, I actually worked with someone to actually develop a precursor to top. I don't know if it ever got included in things, but it was, I think it was called Systat. And it was an ncurses interface that was kind of like top. It was looking at processes and users on a multi-user system in an ncurses interface. It was pretty slick. But yeah, okay, so everybody wants to monitor, everybody wants to see how things are working under the hood. Well, not everybody. Those who know and are very curious like to do that. And that's why I welcome you here. All right, so let's see. I am going to now, what am I doing now? Oh yeah, I'm going to be moving back to the agenda. Okay, so this is a placeholder for an agenda. So I'm going to edit this file, and hopefully what's going to happen is that with this helpful plugin that I've loaded, it's going to update the agenda for today. So let's see. Just take out this for, let's say, 09 February 25. And did that update? Let's see. You know what? Helps if you save. Let's see. Let's save that. Yes, it does. That's fantastic. The OBS universe is just, it just keeps giving. It just keeps giving. The OBS community just keeps giving. This is Exerbo, I believe is the developer's name. He is the lead on other plugins that I use, like the Move plugin, which is great, and various other plugins. He's a leader in the OBS plugin community for sure. Okay, so let's make more of the agenda. All right, so let's get rid of that. This will only be updating as I save. And I guess should I share my terminal along with this? Let's see. Should I do that? Or is that too much? Let's see if I can. You can only do source clone on a media source. So let's say let's just do a copy and do a paste. Is that going to work? It's going to be weird. This might mess up my I'm adding a clone, a source for OBS. I just want to make sure that I'm not messing up my original. Doesn't look like it. It's keeping the aspect ratio for that. Let me see if I can fix that.